Hello, YouTube divers. This is Water Dive 122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. Today, we are going to be doing another album review. We're going to be talking about the fifth studio album from one of my all-time favorite bands, Kamelot, entitled Karma, which was released in 2001. So it's no secret that I love Kamelot, and I think they're an extremely special band and an important band for me personally, because I mean, let's be real here. Ever since I first ranked them back in early of July of 2025, I have just been absolutely obsessed with this band. Like, I talk about, I mean, those of you who know me personally, I talk pretty much endlessly about this band, and how much I love them, how many great albums they got, how many great songs they have, how great of a vocalist Roy Khan is, and so on and so forth. Uh, so yeah, it's pretty well documented that I'm a massive, massive Camelot fan, and I pretty much love everything that they've done, for the most part. And Karma, especially, is just like the cream of the crop. If you all remember from my Camelot ranking, I placed Karma as my favorite Camelot album, and yeah, it still very much remains as my favorite record from the band and one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, easily a top 10 favorite album of all time for me. I'm gonna have to update that list soon. Holy smokes. Um, um, but let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this album. So on the vocals, as I alluded to earlier, they are done by Mr. Roy Khan. This is the third album of Camelot's to feature him on the vocals. And the previous two albums he sang on with the band, Siege Perilous from 1998 and The Fourth Legacy from 1999, especially The Fourth Legacy, like, you could tell that there was a huge increase of quality in his voice with Camelot. And I know he was in another band before Camelot, but especially like during his tenure with Camelot, at least with these earlier records, he's just gotten better and better and better. And then Karma comes around, and we've reached the climax already. And then he would continue to develop his voice on the ensuing records like Epica, The Black Halo, Ghost Opera, etc. Um, but Karma was really where he hit his vocal peak, in my opinion. He just sounds so unbelievably good on this album. Same can be said with the musical compositions and arrangements, and performances, rather, for the rest of the band. You have Thomas Youngblood on the guitars. He's been on pretty much every single Camelot album. You have Glenn Berry on the bass. You have Casey Grillo on the drums. So pretty much four out of the five um, golden era members of Camelot are on this album. The only member of the band who I consider who I think is a part of their best lineup is their keyboard player and the husband of Simone Simons, Mr. Oliver Pelotai, who would not join Camelot until The Black Halo, which came out in 2005. Um, but on keyboards here, you got one of their two producers for this album, Mr. Michael Miro Rodenberg, another German keyboard player, and he delivers a great performance on here. And speaking of production, rather, this record was produced by both Miro and Sasha Path. And Sasha Path is no stranger to working with a lot of power metal, symphonic metal bands. I mostly know him from his work with Ed Guy and Avantasia. But quite honestly, I think Karma is easily the best album that he has produced, or at least from what I've heard from him anyway. Um, Everything sounds so well balanced. It doesn't feel like there's too many things happening at one time throughout any of the songs here. The guitars sound clean, the drums sound so tight and so um I don't really know how to describe it, like, so deep in many aspects. Of course, the keyboard and especially the keyboard and backing vocal arrangements, holy smokes. And then his magic with the Roy Khan's vocal setup. I don't know what he did in order to do that, in order to replicate that, but man, I wish that he did that throughout the rest of the Camelot's discography, in my opinion. Even with the Tommy Kotovic stuff as well, I think those records could have easily have benefited from such a wonderful, well balanced mix. Because I think some of those later Camelot albums are a little bit too over the top. But see my Camelot ranking for more on that. Anywho, for the album itself, Karma. There's 10 songs on here. I know there's technically 12, but I'll explain why I only have 10 songs listed here. So we have a great intro track, Regalis Apertura, which perfectly sets up the mood for this entire album. And then you go right into one of the most iconic Camelot tracks of all time, Forever. And Forever is, in my opinion, probably my favorite Camelot song. They have so many good songs, it's really hard to pick a favorite. But Forever is definitely one of, if not my all-time favorite Camelot songs. I love this song. It's so well written, so well produced, and Roy Khan just absolutely steals the show. Like it's no debate whatsoever. Then you have Wings of Despair, which again is another fantastic song with an amazing chorus. Like easily one of the best choruses that Camelot has ever written. Same can be said with Forever, obviously, but Wings of Despair in particular. And it's just kind of a shame that they don't really play this song live. But at the same time, I kind of get it because this song just sounds absolutely huge, and it just would not be nearly as effective as it with just one person singing it, whether it be Roy or Tommy. You would need everybody there. You know what I mean? Then we have the next track, The Spell, which is, in my opinion, one of their most underrated cuts ever. This is a very groovy and a very dance along kind of song. And again, it's just magical. No pun intended, but it's freaking magical, and I love it. And then we get another one of my absolutely favorite songs from Camelot, Don't You Cry, which is hands down their best ballad, like easily their best ballad. It's not even close. And Camelot are no strangers to making fantastic make fantastic ballads, rather. Just look at Sailor Man's Hymn from the Fourth Legacy, or Wander and one on the Coldest Winter Night, both from the Epica album. Abandoned from the Black Halo, and even on their most recent album with Willow from The Awakening, which is the T-shirt that I have here. I don't know if you could see that. It's actually taken from the Awakening tour, which unfortunately I was not into the band at the time when the album came out. But that's a whole story for another day. But yeah, I mean that's an amazing ballad. But Don't You Cry just easily surpasses all of them, in my opinion. It's so gorgeous, and probably has Roy Khan's best vocal performance with Camelot, in my opinion. Um, it's just so emotional. It's just so tear jerking. Like his performance on this one song alone could easily drive you into tears, especially if you're really caught off guard. His voice is just that moving. Then we have the title track, Karma, which has a very interesting type of vibe and chorus as well. It definitely just feels like a very anti-chorus-esque song. Like, I don't really know how else to describe it. Like, once the chorus hits, it's not something that you totally expect. Well, maybe from Camelot, yes, but like in the grand scheme of like a power metal, symphonic metal chorus, it's not really something that you would expect. And in my opinion, and for that reason, The title track is easily one of the more unique songs in this early era of the band. Same can be said with the next song, The Light I Shine on You, which is, again, just a super underrated song. Like, I really wish the band would play this song live, but this has one of the most challenging vocal performances that I've heard from Roy. And especially over the years, like after Epica and the Black Halo and Ghost Opera, like shortly before he left the band, his voice was just not even at that same level of power. But yeah, The Light I Shine on You is just a wonderful song. Then you have another solid ballad with Temples of Gold. And in my opinion, this is a very good ballad because Kamelot just are masters of creating ballads. Um, but again, I think it's one of the more weaker cuts on the album, but kind of like with Sonata Arctica's Ecliptica and Silence, I think Temples of Gold is just like one of those songs that is a good song that would easily be among one of the best on any other album, but on a super stacked album like Karma, it just unfortunately has to fall in one of the weaker categories. Same can be said with the next track, Across the Highlands. This is another great song, but again, I think this is the weakest track on the album because I think every other song on this album is just so much better. But catch Across the Highlands on literally any other power metal album, maybe outside of Camelot, and it may be my favorite song off that album. Who knows? And then we got the last track on the album, the 12.5 minute, three-part epic, Elizabeth. And holy jeez, this song is a masterpiece. It is so haunting, so evil, and it's just so bone-chilling at the same time, especially with the first part, Mirror Mirror, which just is, I don't know how to describe it. It's just so surreal and so haunting at the same time. Like, if you love Roy Khan specifically for his very expressive and very operatic and very haunting vocal performance and emotional vocal performances as well, the Mirror Mirror part of Elizabeth just has to be one of the essentials for him. And of course, the other two parts, the second part, Requiem for the Innocent, and the third part, Fall from Grace, those are all very good. I mean, Elizabeth, just a masterpiece of a song overall. I love this track. And actually, if you look on the album, the third part is listed as an 11-minute long epic, but it ends not even 4 minutes into the track. And according to stories that I've heard from this, the band did this on purpose so that the album's runtime would be 55 minutes and 55 seconds, signaling the number 5 for their 5th album. It's just such an incredible Easter egg, and I love that. I love that so much, even though I don't even listen to the silent part. I just stop when the track cuts off. But anyway, overall, Karma is just still an absolute masterpiece of a power metal album. It is without a doubt my favorite Kamelot album. 10 out of 10. What more do you need me to say? If you're someone who wants to get into Kamelot, absolutely start with Karma. Because Karma basically paved the way, well, technically the Fourth Legacy paved the way for this huge run of albums that they would have. But Karma is where the band is at their best, where the band is pretty much playing at their peak. It is just a masterpiece of an album. And of course, Epica, Black Halo, and Ghost Opera would follow this record. And those 3 records are fantastic as well. But Karma is in a league of its own. Masterpiece of an album, 10 out of 10, one of my favorite records of all time. So, with that said, that concludes this edition of Magic Metal Mondays. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is Water Dive 122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.